Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage. I've decided to make one more quick video with the Escort before start the real work on it, because a lot of you mentioned some points that I need to check out when it comes to the rust on these cars. Another thing is, of course, I need to change the cam belt and all the mechanical stuff on this. I need to order some parts, the cam belt for instance. It will take a while to get here. I would like to do some work on the other cars, so I would really like to just put this in storage until I have the time and the parts for it. But as I told you in the previous video, right now there is no auxiliary belt on this car. So the aircon pump is disconnected, the servo is disconnected, the generator is disconnected, and the water pump. I need the engine to be running for a while when I put it into the storage to park it and all that. A couple of minutes should be okay without a working water pump, but it is pushing it, and I really don't want to mess up the engine just because of that. So what I want to do today is to try to fix that problem. The problem is that the air condition pump on this one is completely knackered. I think it's just the bearing. So as one of you pointed out, maybe I could just change the pulley and the bearing without taking off the old air conditioning unit. I was expecting this system to be completely bled of the air conditioning gas, because that's normally the case on old cars. It isn't though. I was outside yesterday and there is some pressure in the system. It's really not a lot, but there is pressure. So that tells me there's no leak. So maybe I can just fit that and the air conditioner is working. Maybe it needs some more pressure. I have no idea. I don't know anything about air conditioning. I don't use it because my country is way too cold. I can't really stand it because it just clogs up your entire head, in my opinion. It's just not good for me. So even if it works, I would never use it. If I'm going to sell this car, maybe it could be a good thing to get it to work. But if I can change just that pulley, then I don't have to open up the system. That would be nice. So I'm going to try that today. As you can maybe see, it's slightly better looking today than it was in the last video. I just gave it a quick wash outside, just using pure water, just to get the worst of the grime off, to assess it a little bit better. It is still really dirty, but it gives us a chance to actually see what's what on the bodywork. So I'm gonna take a tour around it and see what needs to be done and check the overall condition. Then I'm gonna lift the car up and check the underneath for rust. This will be the first time I see this car underneath. I was told that it's in pretty good condition, but I just don't know. Let's find out. I'm gonna start with the roof. And as you can see, I didn't do a very good job cleaning it, but I just wanted to get the worst crap off. The roof, and by the way, much can be said or not said about the design of the Ford Escort, but this line right here on both sides, I really like that. Other than that, the roof looks in good condition, except there are bubbles underneath right there. It doesn't seem to be too serious, but it is a really annoying place. I'm not going to do anything about that. The front panels, you do expect it to be metal. It is metal. I was actually a bit unsure because it's in such a good condition. There is no rust visual on the front panel. The sills has been fixed once before, and I think I will have to do a little bit of work again on that part, because there is some flaking stuff there. But overall it doesn't look too bad actually. As you can see, work has been done in here before. There's also a bit of rust beginning on the door frame in here. Not the end of the world, but not good either. The bottom of the door is looking decent. A lot better than what I'm used to, at least. The rear door is pretty much the same. A bit of rust in the panels, but nothing too serious. The rear wheel arch is looking okay. Unfortunately, there is a crack in this bumper. I think I could glue that up. No rust in the rear hatch, so that's nice as well. And it's pretty much the same on the other side. Nothing too bad. The sills on this side is better. A lot better, actually. Which is a bit surprising because it's normally the other way around in Danish cars. Oh, there is a bit of rust on the edge of this door, actually. But there is nothing too serious on the bodywork. There is a crack right there in this bumper as well, but it's just small cosmetic stuff, pretty much. It's not the end of the world. But the most important bit is the underneath of a car in my climber. So let's get this up in the air and check it out. Okay, so we are underneath the car now. I don't think I have ever seen such a thick layer of rust protection on anything. It's really thick. This is hopefully good. It could also be something that is hid away, because rust can of course happen on the backside, especially if the rust treatment is too late. It doesn't really help a lot to spray this kind of stuff on top of rust. It needs to be cleaned and treated first. Here we have some of that damage from the on the rear bumper area. But let's try to see. I can actually see hammer marks from another. Maybe the guy I bought it from has been checking it out. But it's actually looking nice. The brakes, of course, needs to be worked on. This is just the kind of stuff we're dealing with in my climber. This is the bleeder nibble on the brake cylinder. Good luck getting that loose. It would most likely be a good thing to change it, but let's see. Let's see what needs to be done. I cannot see if the brake lines are copper or the old ones. I need to scrape them off a bit. It looks to be steel ones. So I need to check them thoroughly because they can rust. The copper ones cannot. But it doesn't seem too bad, at least not here. So that's a good thing. But the amount of rust protection on this car, I have never seen anything this thick. This is most likely the reason why it exists, because I didn't know a lot about Fords when I got this. It's not, I have nothing against Fords, but they have never really, I haven't really fallen in love with any models from them just yet. But yeah, this one just pretty much fell into my lap. And as it turns out, they really rust. Everything does, doesn't it? But it appears that these 90 Fords are a lot worse than other 90 cars, so that was a bit surprising. But seriously, this is just fine back here. There's nothing to worry about. It's the same story at the front. It is just an amazing amount of rust protection on everything. Just when I looked down here, I thought that I was unsure what these pipings were for, because they are just so much thicker than normal brake lines, but it's just that gunk rust protection that is on top of everything. But other than, and that's the reason why it's still alive, I'm pretty sure of. But I see nothing that needs to be welded on this car, so far at least. So that's nice, that's really nice, because that wasn't part of the plan. Once again, really old rusty brakes, needs a lot of attention. Most likely. Look at the brake discs. It's a good thing there are new discs in the rear. And here we have evidence of that leak. The steering rack is leaking in one side. I really hope to be able to fix the leak with the steering rack in position, because it's up there. It's bolted onto the subframe right there. I don't know, I have never tried it, but it could look like quite a task to get that one out, to be honest. So fixing it would be ideal with it in situ. I mean, this is the issue. It's not ideal. I hope to be able to take that off and just replace it. We'll see if that's possible. But if it is, then I can just fit it from the other pump and not having to mess with the gas and all that, because there is a little bit of pressure, not a lot. I have no idea how much is supposed to be in there. But if I don't open anything, then it won't leak out anything. And then maybe it's just, yeah, it's worth a try at least. But I'm going to try to take this one off first, because if that's not possible, then, well, then it won't work. But before that, there's one more thing I would like to check. One of the really good things about having this YouTube channel is I get so much great information from you guys, because, yeah, I'm checking the car for rust, of course, but some of you know these cars really well. A lot of you don't seem to really like it. I have read a lot of comments about people owning these when they were new and they were not impressed by the quality. Also, a lot of you are surprised to see one that is not completely gone. So, but one thing I was told to check is the battery tray up there, because they apparently seem to go there. That's pretty normal stuff for cars, because battery acid can leak and that will make rust happen really quickly. But let's check it out. As you can see, the color inside of here is different from the rest of the car. And that is because something has been fixed in here. I'm not sure if it's a completely new battery tray that has been welded in, but at least some rust work has been done down here. It looks just fine, but rust work has been done down here. But everything seems just solid and fine down here. So that's good. So let's see what we can do about this pulley. It's a number 8, which is kind of small. Not kind of, it's very small. It's going to be exciting if that rounds off. I'm gonna grab it with this one. Ah, that was really easy. What a surprise. It's just lovely sometimes that stuff is not fighting you all the way necessarily. But I do wonder if the bearing race is going to be completely stuck there. Oh wait, there's a locking ring in there. I need to take that out. Ah, I got it off. It's all the balls from the bearing that is falling out of it now. There's balls everywhere. No fun intended. But the bearing race is still there. Oh, it came off right there. Oh, how nice is that? I think my plan could end up being possible, actually. I have no idea how these things work, by the way. So let's see if we can take the other one apart and then just fit it. This one is looking kind of different to the other one, but I think maybe something has fallen off on the other one. This is different at least. Maybe it doesn't fit together. Maybe it's another brand, who knows. But it looks to be the same system with the locking. And it actually got a bearing in here. How nice is that? With a bearing, nice bearing. Like that. How cool could it be if this air conditioner is actually working? Maybe it needs a regassing, but maybe it just works. I have no idea how much pressure is supposed to be at the Schrader valve. But when I pressed down on the little ball in there, it just made a little shh sound. So I'd say it's low pressure in there, but I don't know if it's high pressure after the pump or however that system is working. I have no idea. Now I'm gonna fit this part because the other one just looks like this from the old one. From the new one, it looks like this. I don't know. I'm actually pretty sure that this has been cut off. The big part, maybe someone has tried to fix it and then didn't get it fixed. So I'm gonna fit it with that part. And then little washer and that little 8mm. It's really a small one. Like that. So I got this fantastic treasure map of the routing of the belt. It is going on down there. I just removed the reservoir for the servo, and I think I can fiddle it in. I'm going to take it off soon because when I change the cam belt I need to take it off, but I'll just fit it. Unfortunately, the belt in the trunk is the wrong size. It's too small, most likely for a version without air conditioning. So I'm gonna have to fit the old, pretty worn belt and then order up a new one. I'm gonna try this and take you back in a minute. So in a short while later, the magic about filming stuff is it could seem like a couple of minutes later, but in fact I have just driven 80 kilometers in a station car with 250 horsepower. You can try to guess what that is. I really like it. Anyway, I also got that belt on. It's down there now. It was not that hard. Remember, I need to take it off really soon, but now I should be able to run the car for a longer period of time without having problems with overheating, as long as the coolant system in general is working, and I do think it is. So let's try to fire it up. Oh wait, I'm gonna fit the battery and get it down from the lift, and then let's try to fire it up and see if the air conditioner for some magic reason is also working, but it's going to be exciting. So let's try and fire it up and see. So the battery charge light came out. It didn't do that before, so that is working. Do think the servo, it's leaking, of course, so it's most likely empty of fluid, so that is not working. But I suspect the coolant system is working. I'm just gonna try the air condition, if I can figure out how that works. So everything seems to be working just fine. It might be a little bit noisy in here because I got the fan speed on, and I'm right now setting up a temp gauge. The fan speed is on maximum on cold, but I have not switched on the air condition. So I want to see what temperature I get from inside the fan. Just to make sure everything works, I'm just going to crank the heat on. I was expecting slightly lower temperature, but I have heat in my garage, so maybe it's correct. Just going to heat it up. Oh yeah, that's working just fine. So let's let it settle at the temp. Okay, so 16 degrees. It seems to be the temp that is the coldest. And it's just air from the outside blowing in. So that will be the lowest temperature that it can achieve. Let's try to turn on the air conditioner and see if it changes, because if it does, then the air conditioner is working. I can hear the idle drop, so the pump is running now. but I am not seeing any temperature drop, so it will need some new gas for sure. No big surprise, but it's just fun to try. As I told you, there is some gas in the system, just not a lot, so it's most likely not at all enough. But no, it's not working. But this is all from the Ford this time, because now I can drive it out of the garage and put it into the storage while I work on lots of other cars that are at my garage at the moment. Unfortunately, not video cars, many of them, but good thing for me anyway. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.